Hello, fellow fantasy sports fans. I am Dr. Dan Ratner here on MFSN, and I'm joined as always by Casey Vlad to the Bone Scheinvold and Ross the Boss.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ross the Boss, and I want to give my NFL predictions to you, Cowboy. Guys, it's it. We're at the kickoff of 2021 of the NFL season tonight. It's the Dallas Cowboys versus the world champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It should be a classic. I'm excited. You're excited. Everyone's excited. What are your thoughts on tonight's game?
We've all been waiting for this day.
We have
a long time.
Long time.
You know, I have to say, last year really whet my appetite. I'm a much better fantasy football manager than I was, so at least I think. So we're going to find out. I'm excited to find out.
Really quick today, big news, Gus Edwards out for the season.
That's right.
Unbelievable luck the Baltimore team is having with running backs. That's one job I don't want to have. And guess who swooped in and picked up Tyson Williams in our league?
That's right.
It's Dr. Dan Ratner.
Yes. Now, I didn't get him in every league I was in, but I did. I already owned him in one. So I got 2 out of 3. Not too bad.
Good, let's go.
You know what this means? It means, Tyson, watch out for your ACL. This is a big-time problem. All right, guys, let's get into it. We're going to talk about our picks for this year. We're going to go through each division, talk about how they finish. This year, there are 7 playoff teams from each conference. So we're going to pick our 14 playoff teams, and then we're going to go straight through all the way to our Super Bowl picks. We're going to make every pick right now. So, guys, I'm an AFC guy, so I'm going to start straight with the AFC East, just the way the standings look in any newspaper. Not that anybody looks in newspapers anymore. Take me through your division picks. I'm going to go first to Casey.
Ooh, so do you want me to just go with all 4 divisions?
I want you to go with all 4 AFC East picks.
Okay, division winners. In the AFC East, I don't think it's any surprise I have Buffalo winning the AFC East. I just think they're the best team. The AFC North, I went with the Cleveland Browns. They have the best offensive line in football and a pretty darn good defense too. And when you pair it with all the weapons, Baker Mayfield, I just think they can really impress and win the North. In the South, I'm not good. Everybody's saying Tennessee is going to win from what I've read. I think the Indianapolis Colts can pull that off if Carson Wentz stays healthy. So I have them picked to win the South. That might be a bit of a shock. And out West, you got to go with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So those are my 4 division winners.
You got your AFC division winners. Ross, I'm going to go to you next, and then I'll reveal mine. And then we're going to go in the actual order because we're going to have to talk about, who's going to make the wild card spots. Ross, who are your 4 division winners in the AFC?
So AFC guys might have to help me. I didn't write my notes down, but I do know who I want to take. I've been studying this for a long time. So AFC North, I mean, the Buffalo Bills to me,
East.
They're the East. I have them winning, just not just winning their division, but I have them going pretty far in the playoffs. We'll get that later. But Buffalo, they're coming back. They had a great season last year. They missed the Super Bowl by not that much. And I feel that's the team to beat in that division. There's no one else. I wanted to say New England. I would say Miami, but I don't think they're going to do well. We'll see what happens. I think New England could actually make the playoffs this year, but we'll talk about that. Maybe as a wild card. And then in the other division, I mean, I think Tennessee. I mean, I think Tennessee has Tannehill. They got some more weapons with Jones. I feel they're healthy. I think their line's better. I think their defense will push it up a little bit. I think Tennessee's going to have a 12, 13 game winning season. I think they'll be very strong. And then in the West, I love Kansas City. I think their offensive line is all revitalized. I think they're ready to roll. Last year, they had major problems with their offensive line with injuries, but they're back. Everyone is healthy, and they'll be protecting Patrick Mahomes very, very easily this year. And then I'm missing one division, right, guys?
AFC North.
The AFC North with Cleveland, Baltimore,
right, the
Pittsburgh.
AFC North, which is my Cincinnati Bengals division. You know, I'm still going to go with Baltimore. I know they have their injuries with running backs, but as we know in football, the easiest position to fill is a running back position. I still think, I don't think they're a dime a dozen, but I think it's kind of easy to find a running back to take another running back's place, unless it's Derrick Henry or somebody like that caliber. So I'm going to take Baltimore. I feel their defense. I want to say Cleveland. I think they'll be in the playoffs, but those are my picks.
Okay. Here are my AFC division winning picks. They're pretty similar to you guys. I have Buffalo at the top of the AFC East. I would love to say the Browns, and they could do it, but I'm gonna say that the Baltimore Ravens are gonna hang on, even though their running game is decimated. And part of the reason is that Lamar Jackson is still their running game, so they still have ways to get it done.
1,500 yards they'll have this year.
I predict that Baltimore will win the division by one measly game, and it's gonna annoy me, but I do think Cleveland's gonna make the playoffs. I think Tennessee is going to edge out Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis is also a playoff team, so I agree with Casey there. And Kansas City winning the AFC West is pretty much a no-brainer, I think, for most people. Yeah. So now let's talk about the 3 wildcard teams you think are going to make it in. Ross, we're going to start with you this time.
I'm going to say Cleveland. I'm going to say the Colts, and I'm going to say New England.
Okay, so you like Mac Jones. You think he's going to
I have faith in Mac Jones, and I feel he's ready to take it to the next level. And I'm not betting against Belichick. I'm not going to.
Well, right. When Belichick has anything good in his hands, he makes it work. So, all right.
I mean, I just feel that New England's going to have a 10-game win. Remember, there's 17 games this year, so I'm adding an extra. I'm saying they'll have 10 wins this year.
Okay, I can see New England doing well. I think they're just going to miss the playoffs. I'm going to pick a team that you might think is surprising. I think Cleveland makes the playoffs without any problem, and I do think Pittsburgh is going to miss the cut this year.
That's a good one.
They're going to miss it. Indianapolis, I think, does come in. I think Carson Wentz is going to have a big year, and here is my potential surprise team that edges out New England. It's the San Diego. No, it's not San Diego. The Los Angeles Chargers. I'm still saying San Diego.
It's $100 in the jar. Every time you say San Diego or the Redskins, it's $100 in the jar.
Well, I'm going to lose a lot on the Los Angeles Chargers, but I won't lose on that other team. They who will not be named. Those are my 3 teams. Casey, you give us your 3, and then we'll move on to the NFC.
All right. Well, I have New England making the playoffs. I think that they have enough. They have a great offensive line. Bill Belichick can always make the defense work, and I think Mac Jones is good enough to do it. I am going to shock everybody and say I don't think Baltimore is making the playoffs. Everybody else has them winning the division or easily making the playoffs. I think these injuries at running back, they don't have a great offensive line. I think it's ranked 12th or 13th in the league. So don't get me wrong, it's good, but it's not great. I just think they're going to struggle. And I think that Tennessee makes it out of the South with Indianapolis. Remember, I had Indianapolis winning. And I agree with you. I have the Los Angeles Chargers making it. I think Derwin James coming back for that defense makes a huge difference for them on that back end and doesn't let them get scored on as much. And so I think the Chargers have, with Justin Herbert and the rest of that offense, Austin Eckler, I think they're going to do it. So those are my AFC wildcards.
All right, nice. We're going to revisit then what we think is going to happen from there, but we're going to move to the NFC. And just to mix it up, I'm going to go first. I'm going to go ahead and say my 4 division winners, then I'm coming to one of you. So be on your toes. My division winners, I could be completely out on a limb here without other people agreeing with this. Mostly I've heard people talk about the NFC East, that they think that the team from Washington is going to win. Nothing against them, and I do think they're a playoff team. But I actually think Dallas is going to win that division. I know they're a mess in certain ways, but Dak Prescott and that high-octane offense, I think, is going to be enough to carry them in what is a better division than it was, but still a weaker division. I think Green Bay takes the NFC North. I have some question marks about how deep they can run, especially with some questions on defense. But Aaron Rodgers is going to get them to the playoffs and win that division, I think, pretty easily. Tampa Bay, very hard to pick against them as the division winners. They really are a very complete team, and we've seen them do it already, and they've got Tom Brady leading them. And then the NFC West, which I don't know which one is the hardest division, this or the AFC North. I would actually say the NFC West is even tougher because I think Pittsburgh is fading. I think Cincinnati's not quite there yet.
How dare you?
But the NFC West, any of these teams could win it. I have Seattle taking it. I believe in Russell Wilson. I think he gets it done. All right, Ross, we'll start with you, and we'll come to you, Casey.
Okay, let's do the obvious. Tampa Bay, all 22 guys are coming back from last year's Super Bowl winning team, and they have a whole year to get to know each other a lot better. So I feel Tampa Bay, of course. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is going to be on so angry this year when he plays. He'll be running the score up on every team he plays. Every team. So if you're betting the over on Green Bay, just bet the over on every game Green Bay plays. Trust me, you'll win 80% of the time. He's mad. So those 2 teams. Let's go NFC West. That is a tough division. You know, I love Arizona. I love the Niners. I love Seattle. I mean, all these teams are great. I even like the Lambs. I'm calling them Lambs until they prove me wrong. I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners, to me, have a great defense, and I think they're ready to roll. I think they'll have a 13-game wins. And last year, the whole team was decimated. I don't know if you guys remember this. Their IR was like their whole starting team. It was unbelievable. So I feel no, I'm going to take the Niners, but that's like you said, that's a very tough division. Casey Scheinfeld, we talked about it. And then the other NFC, what division am I missing, guys?
You're missing the East.
Yes, you didn't do the East yet.
So the East, oh God, that's a tough division. I'm going to take I'll take an upset with the East. Tampa Bay's not, they're in the South.
That's right.
So in the East, tell me the teams that are in the East.
You got Dallas, Washington.
Oh, that's that division.
The New York Giants.
I got
and
it.
the Philadelphia Eagles.
So I'm going to take. Listen to me. I'm going to take a weird team right now. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. I feel their offensive.
Okay.
I'm taking the Eagles. Their offensive line last year was a disaster. You guys know this. They had 25 different setups in during games with their offensive line. It was a total mess up. This year, Hurts has a year under his belt. Their running game is going to be really good this year, and I feel their defense is back. I'm taking the Eagles. I know everybody else is saying Dallas and Washington. Well, the boss is taking the Eagles.
Oh, let's hope Casey takes the Giants. This is going to be interesting. I don't think he will, but all right,
Casey.
I
would love to take the Giants, but I just can't do it. Their offensive line is so bad that Daniel Jones hasn't proven it yet. Now he has more weapons than he's ever had before if Saquon can get back to full strength, but I just can't do it. Look, until they won the league, they won the division last year, the Washington football team, and I don't think they've gotten worse. I think they actually got better. Certainly Dallas has gotten better with Dak Prescott coming back, but I love Washington's defense. Their defensive line is crazy good with Chase Young attacking the quarterback. They have weapons on offense. So I have Washington holding on there. In the North, I agree with everybody. It's Green Bay, not because I think Green Bay is a fantastic team. I really don't. I think, Aaron Rodgers is fantastic. Aaron Jones is fantastic. And Devontae Adams is fantastic. But they're better than the other teams. I don't think the Lions are any good. I don't think the Bears are there yet. I think with a couple years, they might be able to challenge them. And the Vikings have to learn how to play defense again if they're gonna re-contend there. In the South, I'm going with Tampa Bay because they are the Super Bowl champs and they're returning all 22 starters, which is unheard of. So I just think they are a perfectly complete team, as Dan said. And I'm going to agree with Ross. I think the 49ers are the most complete team in the West, and not that they're exponentially better than everybody else, but given their offensive and defensive lines, I'm a big guy at looking at the trenches when it comes to a team's full season performance. As long as their offensive and defensive lines stay healthy, I think they win that division.
All right, good. So now let's move to our three wildcard teams. Ross, I'll let you go first on this one.
I'm going to take the LA Lambs. I think they have I think Matthew Stafford's going to have a great year. He's going to be unbelievable. I think the Rams defense is really good, top 5. I don't think they'll win the division, like I said before, but I think they'll probably lose by 1 game, and they'll be the most wins for any wildcard team would be the Lambs. The next one, I'm going to take a little upset. You guys will like this. I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh.
And I feel they're my dark horse team this year. I feel the Cardinals, to me, is a team that people are going to be talking about, and I'm going to be rooting for them. I love that team. I love Murray. I love how J.J. Watt's now in the mix there. I mean, AJ, you have Green. I mean, they have all these new guys coming in. Connor, they have all these new guys. All these guys want to win. I love the Cardinals this year, so I'm taking the Cardinals. And I'm going to go back to to that really bad division last year that I think the teams – I think the team went to the playoffs, didn't even have a winning record. I'm going to take the Washington team to make the playoffs. I feel, like Casey said, I feel that they're on the up, and I like their I love their defense. And I feel Gibson's going to be like a huge weapon for Washington this year also. So I'm going to take Washington as my last wild card team.
All right, Casey, bring us in, and then I'll give you my 3, and then we'll get into what's going to happen in these playoffs.
Okay. I agree with Ross that I think the LA Rams, I'll give them the Rams, their actual name, not the Lambs. I do think they are a close second in the NFC West and make the playoffs. But I think Seattle beats out Arizona, not because I don't think Arizona is good. Kyler Murray was awesome the first 8 or 9 games of the year last year and then faded really bad in the second half. I just don't know if he can put together a full season yet. We'll see. If he does, they can certainly contend. But I think Seattle's I trust Russell Wilson. And then I am not picking Dallas to make the playoffs at all, just like Ross did. I think New Orleans is probably, to me, the second best team in the NFC behind Tampa Bay. They just happen to be in the same division, so one of them has to be a wild card.
All right, these are great picks, and really, there are going to be some really good teams that are going to miss out on the playoffs, especially in the NFC. It's much deeper, I think. So I actually have the Saints missing out on the playoffs, just barely. I think they'll probably go 10-7, maybe 9-8, and still miss out on the playoffs. And it's between them and the team from Washington in terms of which team is going to make it last for me. So far I have the team from Washington. I have the San Francisco 49ers. I think they're going to start to put it together. I think it's going to be a really interesting season to see because Trey Lance is probably going to end up starting at some point. So they're going to switch to a starter and still, because they have that strong defense and a great running game, and Kyle Shanahan knows how to run the ball down people's throats, I think they're going to do really well. And the LA Rams, I give them their full name also, are going to be there in the playoffs. Okay, guys. Now, let's first, before we do anything, let's talk about how the new system works with 7 teams. Casey, can you explain this to the viewers?
Well, sure. There's 4 division winners. The top 2 seeds get a bye, I believe, in the first week, or is that correct?
The first two teams have a bye in the first week. You are correct.
And then, but there's an odd number.
No, see, I think there's actually 3 byes now. I put you on the spot, but
you did.
I'll tell you.
Let's say the top 3 teams get byes.
There should be 2 wild card games, but still, how does that work? Man, we are confused.
Yep, you got me on the spot. Let me look it up here.
Just look it up. We can talk. So you want to go back to the AFC or how would
let's go back to the AFC.
Okay.
And
let's go back to the AFC, and I'll talk about the AFC playoff system.
Well, first pick who you think is going to get the top 2 byes, since we are. This is amazing. We're confused about what the rules even are. Casey will bring us up to speed on that. Ross, you tell us who are going to be the top 2 byes.
Only the top team.
Buffalo.
Oh, that's right. It's one team.
There's one bye.
Only
the top team gets a bye in the divisional round, in the wild card.
Okay, so we have one bye. So I'm taking Buffalo to have a bye, and the other team won't have. The other team, it's a very tough situation, but I'm going to take Baltimore to get the other bye. Those are the 2 byes.
There's only one AFC bye.
Okay, so the best record in the AFC this year is going to be Buffalo Bills. It's not going to be Kansas City. It's going to be Buffalo.
I'm going Kansas City.
That's fine.
Casey, who do you have as the top team getting the bye?
I have Kansas City getting the bye as the top
fine.
seed.
It's Ross the boss versus you 2 bozos, and I always win. Here we go.
In the NFC, I think Tampa Bay will get the bye. I think they're going to be riding really high and confident, and they got Tom Brady at the helm. How about you, Casey? Let's go with you.
I think Green Bay has a good chance of getting the bye because they have 6 games against Detroit, Minnesota, and Chicago. And so their schedule isn't terribly difficult, and that could lead to it. Whereas Tampa Bay they have Dallas tonight, so that's a tough game. They have 2 games against New Orleans, which will be tough. So I think Tampa Bay is probably the best team, so there's certainly a good chance to get the bye. I just wanted to go out on a limb, so I took Green Bay because of the softness of their division.
Okay, so now let's get into then who we think are the 3 teams that come out of that wild card.
Hold on. I'll take the 49ers to have the best record.
You're going to have 49ers as the top. Nice. Okay.
Yes, wow. I'm taking the 49ers. Go ahead.
Rich Davis is going to be a big fan of you.
Speaking of wild cards, he's got the Eagles, he's got the Cardinals, he's got the Niners as the top. I love it, Ross.
All right. You got to go against the grain, guys. You can't go with the grain. You're not going to be a winner like Ross the boss.
Casey, you have 6 teams in the AFC other than Kansas City to choose. Which 3 are going to advance to the next round?
Okay, I think Buffalo advances. I think Cleveland advances, and I think Indianapolis advances.
I like that. I'm going to go with Cleveland, Buffalo, and Baltimore advancing. I know you didn't have Baltimore in there. I think they're going to hang on and be there in that Final Four. Ross, how about you?
So I have Buffalo, so I can't take Buffalo in this round, correct? I have
No,
Buffalo.
they're advanced, so you got
already
three
to the
that
next
get
round.
through.
So I don't have to say Buffalo. Okay.
No,
So
you can say it, but it's wrong.
So I'm taking. I think Baltimore. I think their defense, and I think they'll find a running back. I think Lamar Jackson's going to get him there. The other teams, I like. I'm going to take. You know what? I'm going to take the Colts. I think the Colts are going to go to the next round for some reason. I don't know why. They're just, for me, they're going to be like a little upset team for me. I like the Colts a lot. And then the last team, let's take the New England Patriots.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. Casey, who did you say we went through?
I had Buffalo, Indianapolis, and Cleveland.
Okay.
Joining Kansas City.
All right. So we're through. Now we're going to go back to the NFC now. We've picked our bye teams. Let's pick the three teams that advance to the next round. I will go first. I think that the Rams get to the next round. I think that the Niners get to the next round. And I think that Green Bay gets to the next round. So you got Tampa Bay, Green Bay, LA Rams, and San Francisco as my final four in the NFC. Casey, why don't you go next?
Well, obviously, I had Green Bay taking the top seed, so they're automatically advancing. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I'm going to go with New Orleans. And I'm going to go with the LA Rams. I think they're the four teams that end up representing the NFC in the divisional round.
All right. And Ross?
Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Arizona Cardinals.
Wow. Love it. Very fun. Okay. Now, who meets in the AFC Championship, guys? I'm going to tell you, listen, I'm a Browns fan. I know this is like a homer pick, but you have to remember, I think that the Browns have been so bad for so long that you cannot think I'm doing this. I'm scared to even say it, but I do think that Cleveland is going to actually beat Baltimore and advance to the AFC Championship and go to play Buffalo, who's going to beat Kansas City. That's my call. Cleveland at Buffalo, AFC Championship. Ross, who do you got?
So I didn't even take Kansas City again in the first round. I have them. I'm going to go against the grain on Kansas City. I feel Kansas City is going to have a good year and lose in the first round in the playoffs. That's what Ross the Boss thinks.
All right. Who meets in the AFC Championship then?
AFC Championship, I'm going to take the Bills versus the that's a tough one. I'm going to take the Bills and the Colts.
Wow. All right,
Bills,
Casey, how about you?
And then,
Dan, I feel I have it written down so I can prove it, but I'm remorseful already. I actually had the Bills against the Browns as well. I had the Bills beating Kansas City and the Browns beating the Colts to advance to the AFC Championship.
Okay. In the NFC, I have the LA Rams going to play at Tampa Bay for the NFC Championship. Casey, you get to go first in the NFC Championship. Then we're going to make our Super Bowl picks, and then it's all she wrote.
I actually have the Saints against traveling to Tampa Bay for the NFC Championship game.
In a battle of 1983 heavyweights. I'm kidding.
That's right.
All right, Ross, and how about you? NFC Championship for you.
Tampa Bay, because I'm just giving them a little respect. I don't want to pick Tampa Bay, but I picked them against the 49ers.
Okay. And in the Super Bowl, I'm going last on this one for sure. Casey, you go first.
I have Buffalo beating New Orleans in the Super Bowl.
Wow. That would be amazing to see Buffalo finally break through. I would love to see that as long as, I don't have a chance to see the Browns do it. But Ross, how about you?
I want to say Buffalo, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say Trey Lance becomes a huge star during the year.
Wow.
He's going to be...
Dan would love that.
He's going to be Rookie of the Year. He's going to be Rookie of the Year, Super Bowl MVP, Tracy. He's going to be Super Bowl MVP. And he's going to be the talk of the town. He'll be on every commercial after the Super Bowl. I like the 49ers to win the Super Bowl over the Buffalo Bills.
All right. Now, Casey, Ross was so excited to talk about Trey Lance and to talk to you that he called you Tracy. I'm just going to say it happened.
It's fine. I've been called worse.
I apologize.
All right. So Casey has made his Super Bowl pick already. He's at Buffalo over New Orleans. Ross, who do you have?
I have the 49ers. I have the 49ers win the Super Bowl. Trey Lance will be carried off the field as the rookie should be, as the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Okay, well, listen, if I'm not going to pick the Browns to actually go to the Super Bowl in this year, then I can never pick them to go. I think they actually do have the most complete team. Will they do it? Probably not, but I'm going to go ahead and pick it. I think Cleveland beats Buffalo, goes to the Super Bowl, and the Rams upset the Buccaneers.
There you go.
Cleveland faces the Rams. The Rams used to be the Cleveland Rams, and I can't believe, but I'm actually going to pick the Browns to win the Super Bowl.
Love it. No, it's good.
Hey, you have to.
I mean, you have to.
But I also think it actually could happen for the first time.
If you want to win in fantasy football or even like betting like this, sometimes you have to go against the grain, because if you go with the grain, you're not going to win.
Listen, if the Browns do win the Super Bowl, people are going to look at me and be like, how did you know? And I will be like, I didn't. But I do think that actually the Browns, to me, do have the most complete team. I think the thing that goes against them is actually the headspace that they're going to be in.
Well, I think Mayfield is a big question mark. I feel their offensive line is the best in the league. I like Chubb. I like Hunt. I like all those guys. But it's the question to me is Mayfield going to be consistent throughout the year? And I don't know the answer to that, Dr. Dan Radner. I have no idea.
Right.
If the Odell Beckham of 3 years shows up or 4 years shows up, I think you're in a good space there.
Yeah, you know what? Well, that's true, but I don't think he's the key. I think the key is Ben Stefanski, Kevin Stefanski.
Really?
I went to high school with Ben Stefanski. That's totally Stefanski.
You did?
I think that Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, the fact that they have the leadership from the top is the thing that actually makes me think they can get this done.
No, they have a new playbook too. They have play action now. They have a lot of stuff planned for Odell Beckham. He'll have a big year. I mean, I'm not telling you he's not. I'm just telling you, as Mayfield can't throw those interceptions, he has to stay healthy. I just feel San Francisco, if Trey Lance gets the job, which he should get the job, that's going to be a very tough team to stop. I love it.
I hope you're right.
Very tough.
And you know
Casey Scheinfeld knows I'm right.
As much as I hope you're right, I hope I'm right.
Yeah.
Because if I am, oh my God. Guys, it is time for the NFL season. It's finally here. I'm sure I'm wrong about a lot of these picks, including the Browns winning the Super Bowl, but I did call it. So we'll see. All right, guys, it is a pleasure. If you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below, and we will get back to you personally.
Buy any case of Gilchrist the Clean Energy Drink and get dinner for two on the moon. Go to Gilchrist.com.
Offer valid, totally valid. Transportation through not included. Dinner not to exceed $50 or moon dollars, whichever is less at the time of redemption. We have no idea what the currency exchange rate is on the moon. We totally made that part up. They sound cool, but there's no such thing as moon dollars. But it would be neat if there were. Gilchrist, big on Earth, huge in space, created by a Navy SEAL for people who aren't Navy SEALs. The official energy drink of Space Force and other people who aren't Navy SEAls. The biggest no-brainer in the history of drinks.